Hello and welcome everybody. We are doing one of our newest videos called Reanimated, where we take classic Disney animated movies that were released in the theater, and we'll probably be doing some other ones like Tron and whatever else we feel like. But we call it Reanimated because we're talking about classic movies, how they fit in today's world, and if kids would like them, and various other aspects. My name is Jason.
I'm Steve.
I'm Lou.
Chaz.
And Zach.
How's everybody?
And we are Signs of Amusement.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Old.
So far, so good.
Yeah, doing good. It's I'm happy to be here. Thank you for
The important question is, did everybody watch the movie, or did we just get the cliff notes?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I watched Snow White. It's a classic.
I actually watched it.
Yeah, I'm giving the trench.
Watched it this very afternoon. I did.
Lou's fresh off the bat. Look at that.
It was weird watching it because I haven't seen this movie since I was a kid. Watching it with my dad in the theater, and then watching it first time again.
Yeah.
Very cool.
That's cool. Yeah, it's been a long time watching it, but
I don't know how long it's been for me since last time. I think it was about. I tried to do the same thing, like not like for a video or anything, but we're just trying to. And I got as far as I think I got as far as Dumbo, and then I just gave up. But yeah. So it must have been during COVID. It must have been like 4 or 5 years ago now that I tried to watch it last. So
it's probably been like 20 years since I watched it. Probably more. I think this is one of the Blu-rays I bought like a long time ago, though.
Yeah.
Right. So, if I may add a technical thing on this version that's currently available on the Disney Plus service, it's identical to the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company 4K restoration of the film that was made for 4K Ultra H2 Blu-ray on October 10th of in 2023, and it was scanned from the master and done all this really cool technical stuff with it from the original 35mm print. And Eric Goldberg, Michael Giamo, Dorothy McKim, and Bob Bailey who also worked on the 4K remaster of Cinderella, also worked on the newest version of, the restoration of Snow White, which is the one you're currently able to watch on Disney Plus. This is the version I watched this afternoon.
Nice.
I wasn't aware that they had to redraw stuff.
It is, and it's all about editing. It's all about editing and restoration work, cleaning things up like smudges and dirt and scratches and things like that.
Because Goldberg is an animator.
Yes. So's Giamo, McKim, and Bagley. They're all animators that work at a WDC currently.
Okay.
It's an old movie. If I forget how old it is, in 12 years, it will be 100 years old. That's ridiculous to think. So just historically speaking, it was released on December 21st, 1937 at the Carthay Circle Theater in Los Angeles. That's where it had its world premiere. And then in February 1938, it went into general distribution with premieres in New York and in London. And thus it's been going ever since. And real quick, let me see. It was re-released in theaters in 1944, 1952, 1958, 1967, 1975, 1983, 1987, and 1993. I saw it in 75 when it was re-released.
Yeah, that's when I saw it.
That's the first time I saw it.
And then it was also released onto home video for the first time in 1987.
and I had the video.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
And its actual last cinema presentation that's been made was that during the 100th anniversary of the company, it was re-released in cinemas in Great Britain for on August 4th, 2023 for 1 week or 7 days. So that's been the latest it's been in a, what do you call it, ticket paying, movie going public.
Right.
Last time it's been presented.
Wow.
I'm surprised
Just from my notes, real quick. Yeah.
I'm surprised they would even release it since it's just on Disney Plus, unless it's not on Disney Plus in that market.
Well, it is, and I think as we've been talking about other representations of Disney films and media, there's one thing to watch it at home. It's quite a different experience to go to an actual cinema and see it on the giant screen with the ultrasound. And I mean, as you know, going to the film, the cinema is an experience in and of itself, regardless of the motion picture presentation being played. It's an experience by itself. It's like going to a restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like going to a restaurant. I mean, I can cook at home, but dining out is part of that experience.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Shaz?
I go and see if a Star Wars film gets re-released. I'd go and see it. I missed when they re-released.
The original trilogy.
Yeah, they did. Was it Empire not long ago?
Yeah,
we're going to re-release Last Jedi. Do you want to go watch that?
I'll go and see it again. I went to see it I've seen all the Star Wars movies in the theater, and I'll do it again. Because watching them on the big screen,
it would be
we're 8 minutes in. We're already talking about Star Wars.
Yeah, I know.
It's just an experience. It's like I've seen Jaws a million times. I know it inside and out.
Disney Lou has spoken. We don't talk about anything else.
I went to see it in the cinema. Completely different kettle of fish. Like totally different.
Oh yeah, it is.
Agreed.
So
agreed.
Yeah.
See,
I can understand.
Yeah.
I can understand people going to see Snow White in the cinema that have only ever seen it on the TV.
The big screen. Right.
Yeah.
All right. Before we watch the trailer, you were talking about how it premiered at Carthay Circle.
Yep.
Of course, in DCA, we have kind of the restaurant that's designed as Carthay Circle. So that's
exactly
kind of the whole main street of DCA was all based on old Hollywood. So.
On Carthay Circle, right. I mean, just as an aside, Carthay Circle, the actual neighborhood in Los Angeles, that cinema complex no longer exists as it was demolished in 1969.
Yeah, there's offices there or something.
Right. And I mean, I just looked at the satellite photos not 2 hours ago and said, oh no, that's a crying shame. But the recreation in Anaheim is accurate to the original.
Yeah, but
so that's pretty cool.
I remember when they were building
force perspective.
Yeah.
Through the use of force perspective, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's watch the trailer.
Hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, hi ho, it's home from work we go.
Once again, for your entire family, the lyrical, light-hearted entertainment of Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest one of all?
Lips red as the rose, hair black as ebony, skin white as snow.
Snow White.
Someday my prince will come. Someday we'll meet again. And away to his castle.
Featuring those beguiling Disney characters loved by everyone. And of course, this is Grumpy.
Mush.
Here's Doc.
Why, yeah.
And Bashful.
Oh.
Sleepy.
Hard to get.
And this must be Sneezy. Happy?
That's me. This is Dopey. He don't talk none.
I'm
mean he
dope.
can't?
That's me.
He don't know.
You're
He never
sneezing.
tried.
Then, too, there's the terrible witch.
Fuddies.
Here's a happy treat of fun and musical fantasy that lasts forever.
I hear this, I think of
Enjoy this delightful experience in happiness. See Walt Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Now, isn't dwarves actually more correct spelling?
What?
Not dwarfs. Yeah,
Dwarfs.
Interesting thing, just watching that, and I didn't think about it during the movie. But she asked the mirror, and it says hair black, skin white, and the queen has the exact same complexion. That's the white right away. Interesting.
But clearly, Snow White has on the queen has the benefit of youth, and youth is seen as more attractive than age or maturity. Particularly in these
the way the
contexts.
mirror described it, though, was hair black.
Absolutely, it was identical.
Yeah, so
Agreed.
she's just like, oh, it's not me.
Yeah.
Right, she automatically presumed it was her stepdaughter. Absolutely.
Yeah, which I didn't know that was her stepdaughter all this time.
Yeah, so where's the
I
father?
never knew that.
Did he die? Was he just?
Yeah, father died, didn't he?
Yeah. But then if he died, then why isn't she queen? Because she's not of age yet? I don't.
Yeah, Snow White's
Exactly.
only
How old is
14.
she? She's 14, isn't she?
She's 14.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Prince Florian's like, what, 30 something?
18.
No, he's older than 18.
I think it's in the archives, whatever it says he's 18. I know.
Oh, does it? No. Fair.
I was about to say, in the original 1812 Brothers Grimm fairy tale, Florian is roughly between 27 and 33 years. At least that's what they allude to, the Brothers Grimm.
Yeah.
You got to understand, Germany in the third decade of the 19th century was a much different place than here today in the modern world.
Even
It's also
1930s
Disney,
is
so
way
they
different.
would change the
Oh, yeah.
And the original fairy tale is a lot darker than what we see cinematically depicted in the motion picture.
Oh, yeah,
A
the
lot
Brothers
darker.
Grimm tales were
Well, grim.
scarily grim. Yeah.
Hence, yes.
Absolutely.
So before we talk about our flow that we want to do here,
Oh, right.
I'm going to go on a little tangent here.
Okay.
The first word in the movie spoken was by the queen. Lou, do you know what it says?
Yes. The word is slave.
Slave.
That is the first word issued.
So this whole DEI thing for Disney and, getting rid of Song of the South because it deals with slaves, but your number one movie that ever made starts with the word slave.
Yes.
So why pick on one movie and not the other?
Because the slave they're referring to in Snow White is an enchanted object. It is not a human being.
Well, maybe.
And that's how they get away with it.
But she does say slave in the mirror.
Indeed. She's referring to the mirror itself. The mirror is the queen's slave. Enchanted for her benefit and her benefit alone.
I noticed in the trailer they cut off that beginning part.
Indeed, they do.
Yeah. We'll be able to put that
I'm
in.
surprised they haven't edited it out of the remaster.
That's kind of what I was alluding to.
Yeah. Because he has
That's a great
edited
question
Disney,
why they
he has
haven't.
edited Disney movies, for
Yes.
Disney Plus. Because
Yes,
there's
they
one
do.
scene, this is in a tangent, but there's one scene in Lilo and Stitch where Lilo gets into the dryer, and it's not a dryer in the Disney version, it's a pizza box.
A cabinet, right?
Yeah. It's like a cabinet with a pizza box over it, but in the original concept and movie, it's the dryer.
Right.
So, yeah. So it's one of those
Agreed.
things where it's like, Like, if they're going to edit them all, why not just edit them all rather than just a select few?
Because you can't please everybody, Zach. Because the purists are going to yell that it's not according to the original interpretation as created by the artists.
Yeah.
And then the reformers are going to complain because they're going to say you didn't do it right. You should have gone a little farther. And of course, wreck the entire identity of the film. So Disney's attempting to make everybody happy and making everybody miserable. And this is just another case in point.
Yeah.
I
mean, if you're talking about like, what's not teach kids going dryers?
Yeah.
Snow White just knocks on the door, no one's there, and she goes right in. Like,
trespassing.
I mean, there's lots of people here.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go clean.
I want to go clean. Yeah. Let me wash these dishes.
I'm sorry, but I don't know any 14-year-olds that would do that willingly.
Well, and the line is, if I clean their cottage, maybe they will let me stay with them, is what she says.
Yeah.
You know, I watched it this afternoon with a completely analytical perspective. So like, I was ready to do like an intelligence analysis on the film, and like break it down line by line, verse by verse, frame by frame, and give you like interpretations on everything. But we don't have to do all that. I don't think that this format is requiring that level of analysis. However, I can tell you her motivations behind going in there uninvited and cleaning up the cottage was because she was desperate with a place to stay.
Right.
And she felt that through labor, through service, she would win that permission.
Right.
That makes sense.
Perfect sense.
So somewhere along in the way, the queen kind of was suspecting Snow White would be this person all the time. Why didn't she just kill her when she was younger if she suspected it?
Because then there wouldn't be a story, would it?
I know. So.
My thing was,
that's just normal with these kind of fairy tales. It takes the kid or the person that the protagonist wants to get rid of to kind of reach puberty before they realize they're a threat.
Yeah, always.
Right. It's what's called in cinema, it's called the slow burn technique.
Yeah.
The slow burn technique is designed to build tension slowly yet constantly until we have a boiling over explosion, which is what we see when the queen orders her huntsmen to take her out and take care of her.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, Snow White is in rags.
Scullery maid, yes.
And then she's like, okay, you go to the woods. And then she gets dressed up to go to the woods?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an outing.
You got to look good at your funeral, Jason.
It's an outing.
I'm just saying, like, whose idea was that? Did the queen go like, oh, yeah, you can dress up now because you're going to die anyway? So.
Well, I think it was also part of public image. So as a scullery maid, she was kept secluded from public view. And knowing that she was going to leave the castle and go into the woods with the huntsman, she was going to be seen by the public, at least in the immediate environs of the castle.
Right.
And because she was of royal descent, she had to look good.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
That's just royal protocol.
Princess, yeah.
Going back to antiquity.
Of stature, yeah.
Right.
Like, they won't know. Because then that'd give a bad image for the evil queen, then, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, well, why is the princess in scullery maid? You know, like.
Right.
Because obviously she wants to maintain her image to be, like, prim and proper. You know what I mean? Like.
Indeed.
Do you not want to be seen as a bad guy to the public eye?
No, because then there'd be a revolution.
Exactly. Right.
I still find it kind of weird. I mean, I know this was the first one, but the queen doesn't have a name. As time goes on with Disney movies, the villain always has a name, except for Snow White. She's just known as the evil queen. She doesn't have any other name.
I thought she does.
That question.
And her other identity.
That was in a trivia question.
Old hag, the
hag.
The hag, yes.
Yeah.
But she does have a name.
Yeah.
We looked this up.
Yeah.
I think it might come from the book. I'm not sure, but
She's never referred to in the movie.
The only name I can think of for the evil queen is from Once Upon a Time, and that's Regina.
Yeah.
No, there's another
It's
name.
Queen Grimhilda.
Grimhilda.
She's never referred to that in the entire film.
Okay, this is where I have to do an aside. So you don't say Regina, you say Regina?
Regina.
She's Regina. Yeah.
See, in Canada, they refer to it as Regina for some weird reason. But hey,
That
whatever.
sounds really bad. We should.
Sounds like
I think your mind. I think your mind is in the wrong place, Zach. But okay, sure, say all you please.
Hey, what can I say?
So the beginning of the movie again, Shaz, you had your little rant on Snow White and the Prince. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, I spoke about yesterday. Yes. Okay. So at the beginning, like, she has a little sing song. They meet. She gets all flustered and runs away from him. And then suddenly he's the best thing since sliced bread. And then at the end, she's met him for like less than 5. She's not even met him. They've not even spoken. They've sung to each other from across a balcony. She's run away, and then suddenly they just disappear.
That's all you need.
She wrote a song about him, sung it to the door.
Do you not understand the concept of love at first sight, especially in the context of a Grimm's fairy tale?
Probably, yes, but
okay. I have something else to say about this, right? So in reading the production notes on this film, right, which I did my due diligence, and it says here that Walt Disney and the head of production was inspired by the 1936 production of Romeo and Juliet, which is why you have the balcony scene, by the way. It's directly attributable to that inspirational piece of that motion picture. So again, this is like some big deal stuff. So that's why you have that scene in the film, because if you remember Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, I mean, this is when Romeo and Juliet first see each other. And this is where, Juliet goes, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? And then Romeo down there on the ground there is like giving his oration to her. And they fall in love at this critical moment. What Disney does is he compresses that entire scene into the song, and she becomes infatuated with the prince.
Yeah, I get that.
I'm not trying to explain it. I'm just merely offered an interpretation.
Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, to be fair. Yeah.
And again, I mean, it's directly from the production notes.
Yeah.
Coming from a girl's
the internet's a great place. You can look at stuff like
happen.
That. I'm sorry?
Coming from a girl's perspective, that rarely happens. He might be the best thing since sliced bread for 5 minutes, but yeah.
And what about like in the 1930s when things like notions of romance were like a huge thing? So please look at it in the perspective in which it was created, not in a modern perspective with modern sensibility, modern judgment, because it's not going to work if you do that. I'm not trying to give you like the originalist versus the revisionist intent. I mean, we don't have to go there, but I'm just merely stating from what I'm reading the production notes. So because I think it's actually fascinating how this thing was created. I mean, this is a story full of challenge and triumph over adversity. I mean, like everybody's aware that Disney insiders, the film industry insiders were calling it Walt's folly until it was released. And then, of course, what Walt does best is he silences critics by the quality of the product, of which he triumphs. And he triumphs so hard that the Academy of Motion Pictures Art and Sciences awards him the honorary Oscar with the seven little statuettes descending in order of height on the special honorary Academy Award for the technical achievement of creating this first feature film length animated production. So big deal. But it's absolutely fascinating. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was definitely a marvel for its time, for sure. Absolutely.
Indeed. Technical triumph. Absolutely.
All right. So, again, there's a couple more things I want to mention. So, we see characters that look like Chippendale, Bambi. One of the doors yells out, Jiminy Crickets, which I know it was like a saying, but the next movie is Pinocchio, so they must have been already thinking about it or working on it. Are there like little nods to stuff they were working on?
Look, like Easter eggs planted for the next film. Absolutely.
And I was mentioning the two where in Pinocchio and in Snow White, there's two things that are pretty much the same, where one is you have a character that does not speak, Dopey. And in Pinocchio, you have a character that does not speak, the cat.
Gideon.
Gideon. In Snow White, you have the poison apple. In Pinocchio, it's the apple that Honest John gives Pinocchio.
Takes from Pinocchio.
It's two things that are
the symbolism. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a formula that works, isn't there, back in the day, and it was something that held on to, work time and time again with simple little nods to, the movies and stuff. So, but like the fact that they were keeping going and carrying on with like the Easter eggs and stuff was like, there must have been things that they were carrying on and always thinking of the next movie and things like that. It must have been in production and things like that. So,
I like it. Were movie Easter eggs a thing then? Like they don't, like.
I mean,
they probably were, but not called Easter eggs back then.
Yeah.
I mean, Imagineers stuck Mickey Mouse heads in all the rides.
That's what I mean.
Kind of the same thing, but that obviously came later anyway. But
right. But so I think that every filmmaker kind of like puts their stamp on their original product and also alludes to future projects or future films in their first film as to, I don't know, like an inside joke, if you will. For example, Woody Allen's famous for doing inside jokes in his films that only like certain people of his circle actually get, like where the rest of us are like flipping clueless, whatever, it's cool. But a lot of it is here in the animated productions of Walt Disney, and we're going to see this as time goes on when we start reviewing the films and sequels.
Especially Pixar.
Everyone alludes to the one either before or after. It's really, really a really cool chain of continuity, despite the fact that the stories are totally unrelated.
Yeah.
So here's something interesting. They work in a diamond mine, the Dwarves.
Yeah.
Gem mine, yes.
They have money from that.
Yes.
Yet they live in a house all dirty and they don't take showers. And why don't they live better if they have all this?
They're single men, Jason. Who's to impress? Who's to impress?
No, but I mean, if I had a diamond mine or a gem mine, like I think I would be buying a bigger house.
And that is your perception of wealth, and that's great.
Well, it's not.
Please understand the perception of their
with it. I would.
Their perception is completely different because, again, we're only seeing a very limited perspective of what the dwarves do. Because clearly they had to build that house. Clearly they carved everything inside of it. Clearly they had to manufacture everything from products in the forest.
Somebody.
Plus, they had to grow their own food and like draw water and do all the household activities required to maintain that home for everyone there. So if they're working literally from, you figure sun up to sundown in the mine, they're not going to have a whole lot of energy for interior housekeeping. Just saying.
They could hire a cleaner.
Yeah, or you could hire somebody to work the mines for you.
Or you could have someone wander in your house and just do it for you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The thing that I love about this movie is the fact that the story is so simple, which I think it's lost as we go further up the chain, which obviously we'll do as we do these reviews. The simplicity of the story gets lost. Everything has moral, everything has a meaning. Whereas this is just a simple case of girl falls in love with boy, something bad happens, everything's okay in the end.
Yeah. Girl marries boy.
Because of the power of love and friendship, which is going to be an overarching theme of all of them. It's all distilled down to love and friendship.
But I think some of the
Disney movie has to do with these two very big themes. You know what I mean?
And depending on what era we get to, sometimes that message gets lost in something else that someone's trying to tell us, which I don't think is always necessarily the most important bit of the story. which is
Yeah,
why I
it gets
love
lost in
these early
translation.
Disney movies, because they're so simple's the wrong word, but there is just it's just like it's a simple fairy tale, and it's just made beautifully. There's no ramming some other message down your throat.
I think that's a theme. I think that's a theme with all the princess movies. Like as you watch, like I think I've watched most of them.
Yes and no.
Especially like the ones I'd say probably up until like, well, when was the last princess movie? Frozen.
Well,
Frozen.
yeah, Frozen 2.
Well,
Yeah.
Little Mermaid remake.
Little Mermaid, yeah, not including the
not including the live ones.
Yeah, like the original kind of like concept was Frozen 2. I mean, that one was kind of lost in translation. Like obviously that's a sequel, but the original one is all about sisterly love, sibling love. You know,
love and friendship. Yes,
love and friendship. Yeah, that had a simple moral. Bad guy become, what, blah blah blah, whatever. It's the same kind of story, told a different way, but this is the simplest form because this is where it came from. This is the Disney formula.
Right.
Snow White is Disney formula for princesses. Without Snow White, there wouldn't be princess movies. You know what I mean?
And that's another cool. That's another cool thing. Yeah. That's another cool thing about like these story arcs is that when we can distill the point of the film down to 2 points, we can see that despite the origin of the story, no matter what continent it originated on, no matter what the source material is, because it's a huge catalog of diverse source material. And that is that the concepts always come down to these two things, which truly mean that love and friendship are universal things that tie humanity together.
Oh, yeah,
that's
absolutely.
A really beautiful thing. And in a world where division and strife run rampant, and it does, and I'm not trying to get on a little political soapbox here. I'm just merely stating that it's films like these that draw us closer together and we realize our common humanity with each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's really, really cool. I mean, like, I find it comforting, you know, and I find it to be something that definitely lifts my spirit, lifts my motivations, makes me want to work another day. Absolutely.
Yeah.
To make it better for everyone.
Work sun up and sundown.
Or from dusk to sunrise, like what I do.
All right, one last little nibbit at the end. Well, first off, this story, like the kiss wakes her up. It's the same thing as Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah,
but they pan to this castle in the sky. So a lot of people online are suggesting that she died at the end.
Not at all. She was resurrected by the power of love.
Right, but then why do they show a castle? Why does the prince live in the castle in the sky?
Because that's supposed to be an ethereal part of the end of the fantasy, and they lived happily ever after the end. That's what that castle is symbolizing, is that ethereal fantasy where we live happily ever after. The location of it, yeah, it's a little weird, but I don't think that they were trying to read anything into like they went off to the afterlife. I don't think it has anything to do with it, because we get to see the parade. We see the parade of the animals, the dwarves, both the prince and Snow White celebrating the fact that love triumphs over hate. That's what we see. Like, that is the final message, like that love triumphs, that love wins in the end. And that's really cool. It's a great message. As far as relevancy to today, it's stupid relevant. Absolutely, it's relevant.
I totally get it, but it is an odd choice in my head.
It's obvious.
I think that was their way of symbolizing.
Well, I know, but the rest of the movie doesn't have symbolism like that.
5-year-old me didn't care that it was a castle in the sky. It was just a castle, and they lived happily ever after.
It was like more of like a dream, like, wow, they,
Now, to be perfectly fair, and I think this is what Jason would say, something like that. If out there in the ether, if you happen to disagree with it, what anybody's saying here, please comment and let us know what you think. You, the audience, what do you think about our interpretation. What is your interpretation of this motion picture masterpiece? Because we would love to hear from you. I do that right, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to be clear. I just read that online. That's not something.
Yeah, you don't think that necessarily, do you?
But I do think it. Like I wasn't even thinking about that when I watched the movie. But when I read it online, I was like, that is kind of a weird choice to put a castle in the clouds. And I guess if you want to think about it another way, maybe that castle was on a hill somewhere in the far distance, and the clouds are around it.
That's
right.
what I was always thinking. Yeah, like that's his kingdom. Like that's where they're going.
Way far.
Right, far away.
Far away.
That's what I thought.
So,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's because obviously he's not in the same kingdom as Snow White. But you know, so he's got.
I want to know how come he was just randomly passing her by.
And that was the other thing because he did live far away. So why was he?
He was out
for somebody.
sowing the royal oats.
Yes.
He was out sowing them oats.
Well, he
That's what he
lucked
was
out,
doing.
didn't he? Because he got one right off the bat.
And then but clearly he was enchanted by her ethereal beauty and her beautiful singing voice.
Or maybe there was just others along the way. I don't know.
Exactly. But that's the oats part. Right.
Again, it's open to interpretation, and that's
Interpretation.
kind of the cool thing.
Exactly. Agree.
Plot twist: the 7 dwarfs are his children. Whoa.
I think the thing about when you watch this movie when you're a kid, you don't even think about stuff like this. But the older
No, you
and
don't.
cynical you get, and the more crappy relationships you've been in, you're like,
That's with everything.
why did he just pop up and
Yeah.
start singing to her? But you know, I
Because
get it.
kids are innocent, isn't it? Like that's
Yeah,
as you
yeah.
get older, you're open to. You're
You
open
start
to more
overthinking when you're an adult.
questions. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I am the absolute top over the
But no, look, I mean, looking at it, it's a sweet movie. It was the first of its kind. It's the Disney formula. Like it rings true and true. If it didn't work, they wouldn't have done it again. You know, if it didn't
That's
work,
why
It would have truly
exist,
when they try and over engineer things, it's like you've got a formula. If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it.
Don't fix it. Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe sometimes you can capture lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, absolutely. Like tweak it
And
a
you can
little
capture
bit.
more than once.
Yeah.
All right.
Like wholeheartedly, my favorite, going on a tangent, but my favorite princess movie is Princess and the Frog, because it takes this, tweaks it a little bit, bends it just a little bit to make it that much more better for me personally.
Mine's Rapunzel for exactly the same reason.
Rapunzel is such an underrated because, I mean, Frozen came out the year after and absolutely trumped it.
I don't know why, because it's a piece of crap, but you know.
Comment below.
Yeah.
Oh, it is. Rapunzel's amazing, 100%. But again, it's like they've got the formula, it works. They've shown it time and time again, and it just proves a point that Disney know what they're doing when it comes to stuff like this, and
Disney
it just rings true.
did know what they were doing.
Disney did know what they were
Not so
doing.
much maybe now.
Yeah. I mean,
That's another topic.
Yeah.
Okay,
Next
so
week's topic.
I don't know if we just covered all this, but likes, dislikes. Do you guys want to talk about anything further?
Right. So there are a couple things. One, and I understand that this was made for a 1930 sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, their values aren't commensurate with the values we hold today.
yeah.
I'm not saying they're two different sets. I'm saying that the values are somewhat different. And I do appreciate that, Walt Disney gives a platform to little people before little people was a thing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Very forward thinking of him to do that, But at the same time, he kind of I understand the whole comic thing because clearly in the 30s, it was the Depression. People needed a laugh. Cinema was the escape. That's where you went for laughs. I get all that. It makes sense. But at the same time, it's like these dwarves are intelligent beings. These dwarves, literally, you see after Snow White bites of the apple of death and she is lying there in a state, the dwarves get really angry and they literally go on a mob after the witch, and they chase her up the mountain, and that's where the witch is like being like surrounded because she clearly didn't think this one through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so she gets behind that boulder and is trying to use that piece of stick or whatever to crush the dwarves, and then clearly the lightning snaps the end of the cliff off, and she falls to her, we presume, demise.
Doom.
And then what's really, really cool is that we get to see the first appearance of the Boothill Boys circle down in the rain
Yep.
to go take care of the queen or the hag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At least I like that part a lot because I love the Boothill Boys.
Yeah.
And I believe this is like their first cinematic representation is in this film. So it's like a real special treat for me.
Nice.
So that kind of brings up an interesting point. If Snow White goes off with the prince to his kingdom and then the queen dies, is there just nobody there anymore?
Succession. That's what you're referring to as succession.
Yeah, and she was the succession, so...
Right. So,
The old
it's something that...
The prince
Yeah,
and
but
something that should have been explored.
She doesn't know that.
She doesn't know that, no, but
Well, I know, but
technically they do.
somebody
Right?
there is going to be like, who's running things? Like,
Nobody.
they're going to fight, and then someone's going to like...
Magic Mirror is going to run.
His magic mirror.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I am the fairest of them all.
Yeah.
So he literally went from slave to master.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Great interpretation. Great interpretation.
Beautiful
Great.
story in all directions.
And that's where Genie comes in.
Genie.
yeah.
What do you need? So is there anything we would change or improve or...
I
really
love the way
wish
the animation was made. I just love the way
yes.
they did that.
I did definitely have I do have a comment about the whole that part of it, and there's a specific technique they used in it, and I'm trying to look at
I saw the machine. I saw the machine over at Walt Disney Studios, and I saw the machine over in the actual machine they used for Snow White.
The triple pane, right?
Yeah, and I saw the other one over at the Walt Disney Museum in San Francisco. Where
We used to have one in Hollywood Studios Park in the animation building.
Right.
it's still there. That's the one I saw. Yeah, I saw
So
that.
here I found it. So this is I got this from Notes on Animation, and I'm going to quote it. Quote, "It proved difficult to add color to Snow White's and the Queen's faces. Eventually, they found a red dye that worked, and which was added with a small piece of cotton wrapped around a tipple pencil on each individual cell. Helen Ogre, an employee in the ink department, was also an animator and decided to use the same system used in animation. The method was so time-consuming that it was never used again on the same scale. It was also used to a smaller degree in Pinocchio and Fantasia. But after Ogre left the studio in 1941, there was no one else with the same skills who could replace her," end quote.
Crazy.
That being said, brilliant technique, but I'm pretty sure now with like the supercomputers they have now, they could replicate it identical to what was used. Because you see the I don't know, the glow on their faces, which is the best way I can explain that. The appearance of their faces, it's absolutely brilliant. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And that's how they did it, was using that very, very painstaking technique, cell by cell by cell.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about before we started recording, I mean, this film was, oh my God, technically so difficult to make.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know, like, animation's hard work.
In 12 years' time, it'll be 100 years old. Was there a fact on how long it actually took them to make the movie?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's a good.
So literally from 1935, that's when they start. They actually start principal photography in 1935, and then it goes all the way up to October 1937. So that's literally just over 3 years in development.
3 years.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Now, granted, they had done pre-production work as far back as 1932. Like that's when the genesis begins, is in 1932. But by 35, that's when they begin in earnest with actually putting together in the animation piece.
Right.
But they're still working on the story into 36. But by the spring of 36, the stories had been resolved, the story process had been resolved, and animation began in earnest at this point. And this is by April 1936.
And the triple plane camera was built when?
1935.
Okay.
Because it's using the old mill. No, 1934, because it
Old
premieres
mill.
in the old mill.
Yeah.
The old mill
Is
is the first time it's
They were
used.
trying to figure out how to keep the distance, like the
Right.
moon, and keep
And
it up.
that's how
Yeah.
and that's how they perfect the use of the equipment was in the production old mill.
So they would lower the thing, but the
Right.
moon stays the same shape,
Right.
same size, but everything else
Right.
is coming closer to you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just an incredible piece of.
It's a really cool machine to
Yeah.
look at. I mean, so over at the animation studios, you can stand right next to it, and it's tall. It's 2 stories tall.
I was gonna say something like 24 high by 12
It's
long
huge.
by something like 6 deep.
Yeah, it's big.
These are in feet, not in centimeters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over at the museum, it's actually 2 floors. So on the bottom floor, you can actually see the pane that they used, and you can go upstairs and look down on the way it was made. Yeah,
Right.
That's
it's
so
really cool. It's a neat invention
Oh yeah.
that
And,
is obsolete now, probably. So I don't think they would.
well, yeah.
Well, computers do it now,
Yeah.
but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
But again,
Alright.
that was something that
It would
Disney
be cool if they
Plus-
do make an animation again using that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay them?
Yeah.
How are you going to pay them?
Well, we just go to that mine, the gem mine from the 7 Dwarfs, and
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Oh, you're saying we need to go up there and mine one of those asteroids for all that rare earth.
there you go.
That's what you're saying. Those are the gems of the future.
Was it unobtainium in Avatar?
Pandora.
Oh, yeah.
In Avatar. Mhm.
Yeah.
Unobtainium, yeah.
All right. What's everybody's like favorite part of this movie? I'll go first if you don't mind.
Yeah, you go. We'll
Please.
just go down the line. Go ahead.
When the Doors are singing, and
Yeah.
I think it's
Favorite bit.
Dopey that's playing the organ.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
The organ has all these like characters, and they're like popping out, and it kind of reminds me of the Tiki Room. Like with the
Yeah.
dog.
Oh
Oh,
yeah. Yeah.
That's my favourite bit as well. When Dopey and is it Bashful are dancing? Whoever gets on top of Dopey. Oh no, Dopey's on
yeah,
the top.
yeah.
Whoever's
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
bottom, and they've got the coat on. Yeah, that whole bit, and they reproduced that bit in the 7 Dwarfs Mine Train. When you go through,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
slow down, you look through the window and you can see them all dancing. It's just brilliant. That's my favourite bit.
That's cool. Nice. Yeah.
I think mine was when she's sleeping or doing all her movements and cleaning and everything. I just loved the way everything was the way they did the animation,
Yeah.
her and the animals. And then when she was sleeping, the dwarfs come in and it was just funny how they were trying to figure out who's in there, like the 3 bears and Goldilocks
yeah.
or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
something
No,
like
yeah.
that. And I just like watching the movements of each of the characters, and to do 7 characters on a single thing. I like my friend; he does storyboard artist. So, he's a storyboard artist. So, when I asked him about some of the stuff he's done, he doesn't like doing too many because it's a lot of work to do so many characters in one scene. So watching Snow White and seeing how many characters they have on one scene, trying to do that, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
The animals where they all kind of move
Doing
in the
all-
same way.
yep,
7
exactly.
Dwarfs are so different. They've all got their own personality. So
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So my favorite scene is the transformation scene from the queen to the hag.
Oh, right.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite part. And the reason it's my favorite part is because, like Jason and Steve were both talking about Easter eggs and how it alludes to other films, we get to see an Easter egg of how the pink elephant sequence is going to go down in Dumbo, because the animation style with the bubbles and the liquid flowing out, blooming in the cell medium, and it's really reminiscent of that. Also, it's reminiscent of the Rite of Spring sequence in Fantasia.
Yeah.
When we talk about the creation of life and about how the single cell organisms start to fuse and become multi-cell organisms and thus lead to like bivalves and fish and stuff, right?
Right.
It's the same technique they're using that they pioneer in the transformation sequence that they're going to carry over into Fantasia. So technically that's like my favorite part because it alludes to so much future projects that Disney's going to do in the immediate future. And also, I just think she's just getting her just desserts on. So I'm really all about that.
So let me ask you this.
Because she is fair, but we get to see at her core. Her core, she's ugly and as vile as a hag.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this. So with this, with all this, seeing all this, do you think they took that and then they're like, okay, let's make this movie?
I think they were inspired by it very much so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Kind of like how Jason was saying with Jiminy and all that.
It was inspired. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. What's your favorite bit, Zach?
My favorite bit is when they're mining and then when they come out and they're walking across like the bridge and singing "Hi Ho." It's such a cool scene. Like that shot where it's just like they're all doing their own separate walks and Dope at the back trying to catch along. It's so impressive to think that like all of that was like all like just hand painted and everything. Like it's just so impressive. It really, really is. It's so cool.
The music during that too, because usually when you hear that song, it's "Hi Ho, off to work we go."
Yeah.
But when you first see them and hear that music, it's "Hi Ho, from home from work we go."
Yeah. I never heard that part. I don't remember.
I've heard it before, but whenever you hear that song, it's usually the other way around. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Off to where we go, but it's from home.
But they do that the next day, but the first time we hear it, it's home.
Yeah.
But everyone always sings the two.
The thing that was weird too was when the movie first opened, it's real life of someone opening a book, a real book. It's not an animated book or anything.
No,
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah.
Just like we see when Cinderella is filmed, we're going to see a human being actually opening the book of Cinderella. We're actually going to see this in 1950.
But in Pinocchio, it's animated and it's Jiminy Cricket opening the book.
Right.
There's another
Steve,
opening a book.
Steve, you have a treat. Cinderella has
got a book opening as well, hasn't it?
Yes, it does. As Shazza and Zach said, they both have their favorite princess movies. My favorite princess movie is Cinderella, and because I just think it's technically brilliant film. But
absolutely.
Anyway, yes, the book opening is like it blows you away. It's pretty cool.
Because it seems like all of them have the book opening Once Upon a Time, and they lived happily ever after. That's
at the end.
That's Disney's thing.
That's Disney's thing. It's a formula that's worked as old as time. You know.
Oh, some Beauty and the Beast reference. Outstanding, Zach.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You will soon.
You'll be all right, Steve.
I will. I have to
You'll
watch
see
it.
it. It's a good one. You'll like that.
To be fair, Beauty and the Beast is my second favorite. Belle, honestly, Belle was
fair.
like
That was my favorite.
Belle was my favorite before Tiana, but Tiana, we'll get to it when we get to Tiana. But there's a reason why.
You like her because she.
No, we know you're a huge fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
I also like.
I say I like her because she cooks. No, I like her because
you like her because she cooks. You're a cook, not because she cooks and you're lazy and you want her to cook for you. You like Tiana because you are a cook and you appreciate.
I do appreciate that, but I also appreciate that she's hardworking and she doesn't take no shit.
Yeah, you're right. She doesn't. And she doesn't
she's very much the entrepreneur here. Agree.
Yeah.
She's a strong, independent woman.
Yeah, who just happens to fall in love with a crazy frog.
And then makes him work. They don't live. They open. Yeah, they open the palace. They open Tiana's palace, and then they work. They don't sit on their ass in a castle.
No,
Stay in
exactly.
New Orleans. Yeah. Could have easily gone back to Maldonia, couldn't they? But they didn't.
No, you're right.
All right. Do we think kids today would enjoy this movie? And
Absolutely.
This version,
Absolutely.
yes. The new
I
version,
think
no.
the correct answer is it depends.
it depends. I
Yeah.
think they will love this movie. I think they're going to hate this new one.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like, that new one's terrifying. Like,
I've got
Yeah,
no inclination to.
We
watch it.
might have to edit this based on what happens in March.
I'm pretty solid in saying that movie is going to bomb.
Gonna suck.
oh, it's gonna flop.
It might be good. It's still going to bomb.
I
It's
don't
not
want
gonna
to
be
curse. I don't want to curse anybody.
It's not gonna be good. It's gonna be
Remember, because like, what was it? Shoot, what was the movie? Both Jason and I really liked that movie. The one where he goes to Mars.
John Carter?
Yeah, John Carter.
Yeah.
Right. So
I
that
love John Carter's
yeah.
Mars. Great film.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
that movie bombed,
Right.
but
Mhm.
I liked it. I thought it was
Right.
pretty good.
Well, I mean, you can say
mean-
the same thing with Skeleton Crew right now.
Well, I was going to say about Zach.
Bombing.
Zach and I both love Treasure Planet and Atlantis: Secret of the Lost Empire.
Yeah.
We both love those
Yeah, I
movies,
do as well.
but they
they
tanked. But they absolutely tanked.
The tanks, yeah.
But I think this movie
killed Tron 3.
Yeah.
Oh, Tomorrowland, yeah. The
Yeah,
one
but
with
I think
George
this
Clooney.
movie, they should have paid more respect to the original.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Because I always say it, and I'll say it again. If it wasn't for this movie, those guys that are doing all this stuff would not have.
We wouldn't
job.
be here.
We wouldn't be
No, we
here.
would not be.
Nothing would have been made.
No.
So for them
Definitely a
to do what they're
foundation
doing
stone.
with the movie,
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
is horrible. It's,
I think you do what you need to do, or do what they need to do with remaking. I don't know why they're obsessed currently with remaking the classics. I kind of get it because they want to keep it relevant and they want kids.
they don't have
to,
any
like,
ideas anymore.
No, it's because they don't want to explore new ideas. They don't want to chance things on things that might not work. So they're trying to go back to stuff they've already done because they think it's a guarantee, but then they hire some stupid director who's never done anything and just wants to put this person in there to change the gender or whatever, and it doesn't work out.
This
I'm
is
gonna-
kind of
I'm going to say something. Lewis, how many times was Snow White released in cinemas?
Right. So
How many times?
let me pull it up. Let me pull it up my notes real quick. And
I think you said like six times,
about 6.
so
6 or 7.
right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and
8
then
times.
9 if you
And
count
that's,
if you count last year.
yeah, and so 9, and that's every, 7 years? The Disney
7
Vault.
years, yep.
The Disney Vault. They stick them in the vault for 7 years and they bring them out for a new generation. They can't do that anymore because of streaming services. That's why they're doing so many
That's actually
remakes.
not true because they could just take it away from the streaming service, and that
But
does
they
happen.
won't. But they won't.
It does
because-
happen because sometimes they have like a deal with another streaming service, like it goes to Netflix for a while, and it can't go on their channel.
Right.
Like
Oh, yeah,
the Indiana
but-
Jones movies were taken off and went to Netflix for a while. So
Yeah,
it
but
does
like,
happen.
yeah, but like not the ones that they fully own, like Snow
No,
White.
it
or-
does happen because it's the same thing. Because they'll like, okay, we'll let you have the rights to Snow White for a week or whatever. So we'll take it off our thing. It happens. It may not be as much as the
Frequent.
7-year clause thing, but
But
Right.
I mean, I think it worked better back in. Like I honestly, I think it worked better back in when it was.
it does because it was more
years.
restricted.
Yeah, like you had to go and watch, or you had to buy it on DVD, and you had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but back
You
then
only
people
had a
didn't
certain
have the
amount of
choices
time
they have
to
today.
buy it.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's it. Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, like now you're overwhelmed with choice. Like there's so much entertainment out there
For sure.
that's been archived in physical media you can physically own, right? It's
Oh,
it's
yeah,
not just
sure.
dependent on a streaming service, streaming platform. I mean, you can physically own the media, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
This
so
movie
like
is
choice
sacred
is beyond
because it's
pale.
the first one. So why do they feel the need that they have to fiddle with it? Just leave it. It's perfect. Don't mess with it.
Exactly, and it goes back to what I was saying before. That Disney formula, it rings pride and true. You don't have to mess with the formula. You can tweak it a little bit. That's fair. But like, to mess with this movie is like, it should be an absolute no-no.
Snow White was German. She was white. She had dark hair and rose red lips. You can't make her Hispanic just to please somebody. Sorry.
Exactly. Yeah.
I totally get the Little Mermaid. Love the idea that they made her dark, black, whatever you want to call whatever race they decided to make her.
They should have
reasoning behind it.
But like Jason and I, the reasoning is bad. But like Jason and I said, they could have made her like her sister.
Yeah.
And they could have marketed Little Mermaid and Little Mermaid sister, whatever her name is.
Yeah, and then like you said, you could have made a sequel on that with both of them. And
they missed a really good opportunity to do that instead of what they did, which turned
I
out
don't
really
care
bad.
what color and race people are, but you have to keep it relevant to the story.
Right, but I mean that's what we're saying. They just changed it because some director or some
we have to change
that lady that they fired eventually anyway just said I can change the color of anyone's skin just because I can. That's not a reason.
No.
If it helps the story along, or because you want to do that, I mean, that's two different things, you know.
That would be like remaking The Princess and the Frog, but instead of them being, exactly. Why would you do that?
Keeping it New Orleans and keeping them white, and the whole that's another part of the story is because of the struggles
that'd be all racist.
They faced, that they faced in 1920s of the blacks in New Orleans.
That's exactly what makes that story as good as it does.
Exactly.
But that's what we're saying. And in Snow White, it's the freaking title of the thing. If you change her to black, just because you can, why?
Yeah, it'd be like making the whole story. It'd be like making the whole story about Charlotte LaBeouf and just calling it Princess and the Frog. That's exactly what if they were to do it again. That's what they'd.
If they put Shia LaBeouf in the live-action remake of
No, Charlotte LaBeouf.
Oh, Charlotte.
Forgive me.
You know, her friends.
I was just thinking, like, was he talking about Holt again?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'll have Shia LaBeouf in there. Yeah.
All right. We're getting off on a tangent, and
I think
sorry, Zach.
Kids like it. Yes, they would. If they're just left alone to watch it as a film. If people start going, oh, but this, that, and the other, then that's
stop nitpicking on it.
Yeah, stop nitpicking. Just let your kids enjoy it. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. One last thing. Well, obviously there's already rides in the parks, and there's tons of merch out in there. But what would you guys do differently? What would you change?
But there's not.
But there's not, and
I need more merch.
I mean, but there are stuff. There's panels, there's dolls, whatever. So what do you want?
I need a hag shirt. I need like, you know, the shirt I'm wearing right now. I need one with the hag on it.
There's not enough there, definitely.
No, there's not.
I need that. I need one of the evil queen. I need that. I need one of the magic mirror. I need that. I need one of Snow White. I need
the
that.
magic mirror thing. They could easily make like for the Haunted Mansion, they have their ride vehicle that you push the button and the ghosts come up on behind them and you can see the ghost and they sing a song. So they could make something like that.
And they have made a toy like that.
Oh no, I just want a t-shirt, man.
No, I know.
I just want a t-shirt of the magic mirror. That's all
I'm talking about, an actual prop.
I was gonna make one, and I talked to Derek over at Van Oaks.
Yeah.
Way before we even interviewed him.
Or Van Eaton?
No, Van Oaks.
No, he's a Van Oaks. He makes it at a prop.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I was going to do a collaboration with him, and I was like, what do you think about this idea? And I was going to make the mirror with the 3 hitchhiking ghosts.
Yeah.
Like it's already done. It's like, oh, okay. But I still have the thing. Actually, it's right there. Where I was going to do it was not animated or anything. It's just going to be an actual mirror you can step up to and a backlight and all that. But we could actually do that with,
magic mirror.
Magic mirror.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But see, Disney they didn't make it and sell it.
Yeah, a lot of people do this on Halloween. They get a mirror and they put it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's homemade stuff. I'm
just saying, like it's doable.
Yeah,
he wants to pay us $150 and get it delivered by Amazon next day.
Yeah,
and he wants it plug and play. That where the magic mirror is going to come up and say, "Oh, you are the fairest one of all," or "Wait, there's one that is fairer than thee."
Yeah,
I totally get it. Totally.
Yeah, well, like
a simulated
it'll be like
magic for the Haunted Mansion stuff.
Right. Yeah. Right. But I mean, this one would be like a magic 8-ball kind of a thing.
Oh yeah,
but it'll be the magic mirror. Yeah,
you could ask it questions and it would give you like stock answers.
Exactly.
Like we're talking Darth Vader. I've got
exactly like you're talking Darth Vader.
Exactly. But the magic 8-ball format to where it gives you
marketing
pre-answered.
But the marketing department or sales or whatever they want to call it.
They finally twigged on that villains are popular and they've started to do more villain stuff. So you can get evil queen things, but nowhere near enough.
But it seems like they're always late on everything.
Yeah,
always late.
I feel like there's going to be a big push on it when the Villains Land open. I don't think there's going to be anything anytime soon. But when that Villains Land open at MK, I think there's going to be a huge push for the original villains.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so. So because I want my T-shirt. I want my T-shirt extra large, $24.95.
That's
what I want.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Probably going to be more like $34.99.
I gotta be like that, Chaz. I gotta be like that. I gotta be
Sorry.
Let me dream. Let me have a little dream a little while longer. Thank you.
All right.
I wonder what merch is coming out for the movie.
Hopefully none.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's going to be.
It would be really funny if they come out with. They'll come out with it and nobody buys anything.
I hope they have gem fruit snacks. You know what I mean? Like little fruit nuggets shaped as gems.
Remember
the Snow White packaging on them for the new film. I think it'd be really
remember
cool.
that.
And then you sell them. And you sell them at the movie theater, right? So that Mama, but give me some fruit gems. Give me some fruit gems. You know what I mean? That'd be really, really cool.
I could see that in
it was where you bite into it and they had juice inside of them.
Right. That yucky slop.
Oh,
those were little gems. Yeah,
fruit gushers. You want to
yeah, fruit gushers.
Yeah, but gem shaped. Yeah. So you get all the colors. You get your orange. Your raspberry, your strawberry, your doggone cherry, your grape, your blue raspberry. You know what I mean? And like a green apple, right? And then you get all the. But you have to make them kind of shiny though.
It's poison apple.
Yeah, you need a red apple flavor.
You could do something like that too. Like you could market like poison apples like during the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party.
They have them at Springs, and
we have all these ideas,
but you got to make it just like one of the film where like it's green and it starts turning.
Well, they have a green
into that hard shell.
Yeah, Sam's got the green one, I think. If I remember, we'd have to check on the.
I was supposed to give this to Rhonda. So, like I said in the beginning, this is the first of many to come. Our next one,
63.
That's kind of go in order, except for the other movies that we're adding in. So the next one will be Pinocchio. And that'll be coming out in 2 weeks after this one. I guess thanks for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment below. Let us know what you think of the movie.
Yeah, make sure you comment.
And let us know how we did. And let us know what you're looking forward to coming from the next ones or other movies you might want to see us.
I was going to say, hopefully not Frozen. It's going to be a while before we get to that. So I'll be good.
There's nothing wrong with Frozen. Some people don't like it, but whatever.
You've seen it as many times as I have and had small children singing in your ear. You would hate it.
Like I said, I have videos of Ashton doing everything.
Okay.
I had to do with The Lion King with my kids, but I still love The Lion King, as you well know. I'm a huge Lion King fan.
I remember when I was in work and it came out and the kids just nonstop were just like, this was at a place where I used to work. Like I was on supply and the kids were just, I hadn't watched it yet and I was like, what the friggin' hell are you singing? Like, what is this song? Let It Go. What is this? And I watched it. I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I hated it at the beginning. I was like, this movie sucks so much. It's awful. And it's fine now. Like, it's okay. But like, there's so many better movies. But
Sure.
It triggers me. It makes my eyes twitch. I just can't. I'm going to have to watch it, obviously, for us to review it. But
You're like
try
the
and be
commissioner from
objective.
Inspector Clouseau.
Yeah, I'll try and be objective and not be my normal happy, cynical self about it.
Like I said, look at it through an analytical perspective, just a
I'll
technical
have to
merit.
because otherwise I'll never get to the end.
Right.
I said my favorite princess is Belle, but I like Anna for another Belle, Kristen Bell.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's it for this one. Again, look forward to the next one, Pinocchio, and we'll see you then.
Peace.